Hello, folks. Welcome back to another edition of Super Chats. We are live. I'm here with my awesome co-host Chris. How you doing, Chris?
GM. Good morning. Good morning. I'm feeling good. Ready for a
Uh,
grind today.
ready for the grind.
Beautiful
The
Thursday
markets
morning.
have been a grind, that's for sure.
That is true.
As as always, disclaimer: nothing we say on the show is financial advice, just our own kind of opinions. They don't necessarily represent the opinions of Superseed as a whole. Yeah, we're just spitballing out here.
We really are. And um and it's always a good time. You gotta enjoy just doing your morning digest of the markets and the craziness going on every week.
Yeah, yeah. There's so much craziness going on in the world right now. We're here to bring you the best of it. Yeah, we would love to get more people into the side chat there. Get into the chat, talk with us live. Let us know what's going on. If you want us to bring up any subjects or anything, the live chat is always available. We'll post your comments. Yeah, let's get into it. First
Yeah.
thing on my agenda here, uh, I just want to talk a little bit about. I've been speaking to a few people. Like, there's this ECC conference going on right now out in France, out in
Mhm.
Cannes. I don't remember how you pronounce it, but
I don't know either.
um, anyways, there's a lot of conferences going on, and from everyone that I've talked to that's been at these conferences, it's definitely like it's feeling like bear markets at these conferences. But the cool thing about that is that in these bear markets or these kind of grindy markets that we're in right now, I don't know if you could necessarily call it a bear market. Maybe it's a temporary stutter before the next bull. But the cool thing about this is that like you really get like a lot of quality at these conferences, a lot of quality in the ecosystem as a whole. Um, it knocks out a lot of the quantity, a lot of like scammers, a lot of those kind of types of people are kind of just like off now. They're not no longer paying attention, and there's just a lot more quality. And from everyone that I've talked to at these conferences, at this digital asset summit and at cons, has been saying that like there's like so many reasons to be bullish. There's so many institutions and there's like all these big organizations that are like showing up at these like Ethereum conferences now, and they're like actually like building on Ethereum, and they're like wanting to get involved and talk with other builders, like figure out how to like do stuff. And it's yeah, it's very promising. So I don't know. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Well, you know how it goes. Like every cycle, we have our massive pump, financial cycle, things go up, everybody's excited, everybody's happy, everybody wants to like invest in things. And then that kind of lends down. People feel the pain of the bear market, and then the builders who have always been building or are interested in actually building infrastructure, building the tools that everybody's going to use. They stick around, and then it's easier to find each other. There's more signal in the bear
Mhm.
market than there is, BS. So
Yeah,
it's really good to see. There's a reason these phases go in the way they do, and rather than try to be upset about the fact that we're at this stage of the phase, just prepare for the next phase, and
yeah,
this is the moment of highest opportunity usually. So
absolutely. Every single bear market that I've been through, I've been here since the class of 2016 now, so it's been a while. And every single bear market that I've been through, it's always been the same. It always feels like when you're in the bear market, when you're in the thick of things, it always feels like, oh, this is the end. It's never coming back. But it always comes back. And you get a little bit of those vibes at these conferences that I was talking about. And you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you see the hope and the optimism. And like one thing I wanted to point out is that like the main talk at this digital asset summit that's been going on the past week here, which is like a very like institutional heavy summit that goes on every year, hosted by the Block, I believe. Um, the main talk there has been like stable coins and how like a lot of these big organizations that are building on Ethereum, all that are like really like kind of like making their own stable coins, and we're potentially preparing for a world where there's going to be thousands of stable coins, which is
Yeah.
why and then the other big theme was that like vaults, like user friendly vaults are like going to be like the next phase in DeFi. And when I hear stuff like this, I'm just like, wow, we couldn't be better positioned with Superseed than we are right now, because like everything we're doing, it's going to be launched soon with like supermarket and strategies, and it's basically like exactly what everyone's talking about, like stable coin oriented vaults, basically, that will unveil like different strategies for people, and we're just like couldn't be more on trend of what's coming. So yeah, very excited for where things are going.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to imagine like in this new um pretty mature market, what is the user experience that people really care about? You know, people don't want to go on 100 different platforms. People don't want to figure out how to like do all these sophisticated yield strategies. They have to rebalance themselves. They have to like manage all of their borrow costs, all of their like looping. It's so complicated. And
Yeah,
you know, the reality is that this has been a system that we've created that has allowed for yield, but it's not a system we've really optimized in crypto for the user experience for it to be accessible.
exactly.
So, you know, I think we'll see a lot more of people simplifying that as much as possible, especially in the era of AI, where, you know, a user goes to your website and instead of looking for the strategy that loops through 4 different protocols and vaults, they just say, "Oh, this strategy gives you this amount of APY at this amount of risk. You want
Hmm.
in?" You know, and that's all they should really care about, or have
Yeah,
to deal with. And,
yeah, exactly.
you know, that's kind of what we're trying to optimize for as well.
Yeah, exactly. Simplifying things for the end user, simplifying things for institutions. Because another like big feedback, at least that I've been hearing from like institutions and stuff like that, is that they aren't even like, you see like another stable coin blow up, and you're just like, I didn't even realize that like I was on Morpho or something like that. I was in this vault, and I didn't even realize I had exposure to that stable coin, because these vaults like they go through like all these different like loops and different things like that, and it's just not documented. It's not. People just don't even know what they have exposure to, and like one bad like debt or one bad stablecoin loop can like really like blow up an entire strategy or vault, and especially institutions and people like that have this sophisticated capital or want to allocate a lot of capital. They want to know exactly what they're investing in, what like what their risks and parameters are. Like it's not necessarily that they care that there is risk. Risk is involved in everything, but they want to know what that risk is so that they can hedge that risk. So I think that's going to be a big differentiator for us. Um, it's kind of like this risk curation, I guess you could call it, where people will be able to like exactly like customize the risk and strategies that they want to go through. So yeah, more to come on that as we get closer to this supermarket launch, and we'll release some blogs that kind of outline all this and talk about all this. But it's yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, for sure. And like, yeah, I think I mean I've been talking to our product design team and you know having some internal chats a little bit about you know what does the future of Superseed look like? What does the future of these markets look like? Yield markets, lending markets, and you know I think people should be excited for what they might see in the next cycle. Um, in terms of UI, because that's always been the thing that people have harped on the most. It's like, oh, we have all these tools. Oh, you can do this, and this, but no one knows how to set that up. No one knows how to even figure out what's going on. They don't know if
Yeah,
they're being scammed or not. They don't know what the risk profile is. They just don't know anything, and it's so complicated to actually know.
yeah,
So I think a lot of that will be the focus for this next cycle, and hopefully, if we do see way better UI, people will be way more sticky this time around.
yeah. Completely agree. Like it's like definitely these cycles should have their ups and downs, but it should be going in like an upward trajectory. So, and I think we can get less volatile downs if exactly as you said, if we can like be more transparent. Like that's the whole ethos of crypto, anyways. Is like we're supposed to be open, decentralized. Like open source and transparent. So yeah, we need a lot more of that, and I think we're going to be like strong contributors to that. So yeah, I'm very excited about like what's to come here. On another in the macro markets anyway, there's this famous rating called the Fear and Greed Index. So I just wanted to share this. My screen is not like showing the chart, is it? Oh yeah, you can see a little
It
bit.
is. We can see it beautiful.
There it is. But yeah, like we are at historically low levels here. The Fear and Greed Index is still at 12. And like if you take a look at the chart, we're like at low levels. We've never stayed this low for this long, first of all. And we're at low levels that like we haven't seen since like, yeah, the pandemic levels. And we're just like hovering and staying down here. So like for me, this is just like wild that we've been down here for so long and we
Yeah.
haven't had like any sort of bounce back. Like we've just like been in these uncertain markets for so long. That yeah, like I think people are just like stuck in this loop now where they're just like, hey, this is never going to end, but it's going to end. And like when it does bounce back, I think it's going to be a pretty fast bounce back. So yeah, trying to give people a little bit of optimism here.
Yeah, I mean, these like indexes are, at least the Fear and Greed index is pretty historically accurate in terms of like relative highs, relative lows, like very decent. And like big moves as well. You'll see a massive move down. It's like everybody's panicking.
Yeah,
So, as you see things kind of mellow out, and then as you see some new investors come in, some new, like this past cycle was the DAT trade. Markets were kind of slow. Then all of a sudden, BTC started like ripping. That started to become a thing. Everything starts ripping. Whole market is up multiples, and then you kind of taper off again. And fear and greed, extreme fear
yeah,
returns, and maybe there's some regulatory concerns or some like systematic concerns that people are kind of scared of. So
yeah. I mean, it's like
yeah,
that meme where it's just like we're so back, we're so
yeah,
like gone again, and then we're so back, we're so. It's just it's always those cycles. But I think the difference right now is there's just been so much uncertainty after uncertainty after uncertainty that like we just haven't like had the we're so back in a while. But I definitely think that it's coming.
yeah. I think as a product of just even other markets like AI markets um, kind of taking over and becoming massive, you might just see some small percentage of that funnel into crypto in the short term, simply because it's just a better system currently
Yeah,
for
completely
agents
agree.
to use. So yeah, I don't, and
I mean,
also like it seems like a lot of the people who are really smart about AI are also like, or a lot of the people in crypto are also trying to be very on top of the AI space. So talent is kind of overlapping.
yeah, I mean, it's coming more and more and more and more, and I think like that's what we've been harping on week after week is like this AI crypto convergence. I think it's definitely coming. It's happening. Like you're seeing like yeah, like Stripe and like all these like big companies now like really like getting like really behind crypto and like and building on top of the infrastructure. It's yeah, it's pretty cool to see. And then just to give like a little bit more of a optimistic bend from like a legendary macro investor, Bill Ackman. I mean, he's had some like pretty legendary trades in bear markets. Uh, I mean, during COVID, I think like that. I think he made like one of the most legendary trades ever, where he made like I don't know, like a billion, $2 billion on like over a few weeks on like some call at the bottom of the bear market. I don't remember exactly what it was, but like he's also been like historically wrong about some stuff, but I think he's
Mhm.
been more right than he's been wrong. So I mean, let's see. Like the hardest thing about these things is timing them. But he's pretty bullish right now, and he's saying to ignore the bears and that there's going to be a resolution to all this uncertainty soon. So let's fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. Timing is the hardest part, but I definitely agree with that. with the direction that it can't stay this bad for this long. So I think it's going to turn around soon.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Ackman is a billionaire, for a reason at the end of the day.
Exactly.
He may be wrong at some
Exactly.
points, but worst case, he has a lot of influence to push markets. So, I think
Yeah,
we've made this point before. It's like we need a billionaire for every cycle. Someone to
yeah,
just take over the reins and just be the based crypto pusher. So, maybe Bill Ackman, next cycle it's your turn.
yeah. Maybe could be his turn. And then yeah, back to the point about the AI crypto convergence. Like I'm sure you've heard, like there's a lot of like privacy stuff going on right now around crypto, or sorry, around AI. I don't know if you've seen. Did you dig into like the Claude Code leaks
Hmm.
that happened over the past
Yeah,
couple of
yeah,
weeks
yeah.
here? And I mean, one of the weirder things that I seen in there was that like every single time someone swears to
There's a filter
their
system. Yeah.
LLM, they just like log that in a database somewhere, and like I don't know, there's just been a lot of concerns about like yeah, people's privacy and like who owns your data. There's also been like stuff around like OpenAI releasing like people's personal data to like courts and stuff like that. So like I don't know, that part of the stuff is very concerning. But at least there are like the nice thing about capital and open markets is there's always like another end of the spectrum, and there's companies in crypto like Venice, which is very cool, which just gives you end-to-end encrypted AI, so you can actually use a lot of these different LLMs, but in an encrypted way. So yeah, I don't know. Have you used Venice at all?
I
You a
haven't, but
fan?
I know Eric Voorhees is the founder, I believe. So
Yeah,
Eric Voorhees is like a big voice in the Bitcoin space. He's kind of based. I think a while ago he had like a giga rant about Bitcoin being like amazing or something, went super viral. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Last
I
year
mean,
I played around.
maybe last year, a few years ago, but I just remember that he's probably had multiple, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
He's like a true believer ideologically in the things that make Bitcoin valuable, like you know
Yeah,
being
he's
able
like
to have privacy of your information. So end-to-end encryption is like a very understandable vertical that they would tackle. And you do
yeah,
want something like this. Like imagine OpenAI is, you launch a little LLM thing, chatbot. You think people are just going to chat to it, and then all of a sudden, like in your database, you have like massive amounts of people accidentally committing like or confessing to crimes or confessing to like conspiracy, or confessing to everything possible. And it's like, what are you supposed to do with this now? Every government in the entire world wants to like, because they have like an absurd amount of users everywhere
yeah,
globally. Every government is interested, I'm sure. So the pressure has to be huge on them.
yeah. I mean, like, it's pretty wild. Like, people used to get upset about the government's like spying on their text messages, but like this is far worse because like now, like, I mean, these LLMs have been like notoriously like what is the term, like sycophantic or whatever, where they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of egg people on. So there's like people saying like wild stuff to their LLMs and just like getting out of control and like maybe stuff that they regret and like it's not even that like it's not even that you're trusting OpenAI or Anthropic or whatever to like keep your data secure and like maybe they release it to like a court or under a court order. That's one thing, but like what about like people just like the honeypot that is available? Like now there's like all these like hackers that are going to be trying to go after all these people's like private information and like if one of these LLMs gets exposed, you just like everybody's information is everywhere. So yeah, you just
Hmm.
I hope more people can like tap into like stuff like Venice that is like crypto native first also, which is awesome, and then uses end to end encryption, and that can be like a new standard. So yeah, it's awesome that Eric and other people are out there like pushing this kind of stuff because we need more stuff like this.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I do like the encrypted like privacy because yeah, I mean, you have to imagine how much information is passing through these LLMs and how much information is being parsed constantly. Even just for like a big company like unless you're like a Cloudflare or something, it's hard to imagine other like big companies where just every bit of information, like there's so many LLM based companies now at this point, right? Who provide tokens and they provide outputs to users and whatever website can be all sorts of websites, but ultimately it comes out of one model and one output system from one company. So that output system is like has absurd amount of information scope. Like they just know so much, and there's no way that's okay. There's no way like
Yeah,
that is a okay system to have long term.
it's
There's
not
a big
sustainable.
movement. There's a big movement for a local LLMs now, and I think that's a really important thing. I think that's definitely the future.
I
Um,
completely agree.
so
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that as these local kind of LLM models become like more memory friendly, I guess you could say. Eventually, like they're just gonna be built into every device. You're gonna buy a laptop from Apple, and it's gonna have like a local LLM like built right into it, like like yeah, from the store. So I think that I definitely think that that's the future also. Um, and then like I was saying, like about Venice. Venice has so many cool things. Just gonna promote Venice. Now, crypto one of my crypto buddies works for Venice now, so I'm a fan. But anyways, yeah, now you can even like access like all these different LLMs. You can even get like the new Seed Dance 2.0 apparently through Venice. So I don't know if you've had the chance to try that out yet, but I know that there's been a lot of hype around Seed Dance 2.0.
I actually haven't been able to try it out. I did try it on a few different platforms, but seems like a few major providers are giving it now. So like CapCut, it seems like
Oh
Venice
yeah, that's
partnered
right,
with
Cap.
ByteDance specifically. Um, so this is cool. To be honest, I was expecting a little bit more of C-Dance on the timeline when it did go public in the West. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
just on the wrong part
me
of
too.
Twitter because it seems like the type of hype it was getting in like February is a bit different to what we're actually seeing now.
That's a
But
good point. Yeah,
I'm sure the model is like really good, and like these types of models are only going to continue coming out. Especially one thing I was thinking about and trying to build was a video model with like Premiere and After Effects MCP to do just basic product showcase videos, try to feed it a bunch of context or intuition about how other people make their videos and see how good it gets. It's still hard to do that. It's still way better to train a model on something like that, I think. And
yeah,
the era of like videos and like video agencies, editors, all this stuff is going to go, I think, very, very soon, like disturbingly soon, which I was just
yeah.
not expecting.
Yeah, it comes fast. Like we talked about it like just a few weeks ago on like some of the other super chats is how like the first thing that it's coming after is like the developers and the coding communities, but like it's very fast coming after the yeah, like video generation and like yeah, all these like marketing agencies and stuff like that is kind of the next phase. Yeah, it's wild like how much you can do now. Like I know with my OpenClaw agent, like I keep like skilling them up and training them, and it's wild. Like you have like basically like a full time employee or multiple employees. When you spin up multiple agents, it's pretty wild. And I don't know if you've seen Claude is now like going after completely going after the OpenClaw
Mhm.
movement. They released their computer use. Like now, your Cloud Code can like completely take over your computer, just like an OpenClaw agent can. Uh, Basically, with better kind of security guardrails, I guess. So yeah, pretty cool to see. Haven't tried this one out yet either because I've got my OpenClaw, but yeah, this is cool to see. I think it's a good way for like the average person to kind of spin up and get their own like kind of agents going in a guardrail safe way. Yeah, cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, stuff like this is very I did try this out, and I will say it's decent. You still have to like tell it a lot of things about how to actually use these interfaces correctly. And it can be slow versus an API. Like think of a script versus, you go and click a bunch of things over and over. It's a little bit slower, but the reality is you can just build these things yourself and much
Mhm.
faster and much better is the interesting part. Like, so, I recommend doing that for people who are just, they see releases like this and they're kind of underwhelmed about how much they can actually do. It's like, you just make a better one. Claude will easily
Yeah,
help
yeah.
you do that one because it is good at doing these things. I don't know. Um, so I recommend trying that. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense for them to get into this space. I think like OpenClaw style, Hermes agent style, like agents are
I mean,
definitely the way.
they definitely dropped the ball. I guess with the whole open claw movement, they had every opportunity to like get, to get that guy into like Anthropic, and then he ended up going and getting like bought out basically by OpenAI. That was like I definitely feel like they dropped the ball there. Like Anthropic should have been on top of that. Like it was originally called
Right.
ClaudeBot, and yeah, and they forced them to change the name to OpenClaw. It was
They
just
were
yeah,
begging to be integrated, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, definitely dropped the ball, but now they're trying to kind of catch back up and like and get all these features out there. But yeah, definitely encourage anyone to like if you want like a good guardrail safe, like try stuff like this or the Perplexity's new
Right,
computer
computer
also
use.
yeah is pretty cool. So they're kind of safe ways to kind of get your own like agent going, um, which you're definitely going to need because like with our next supersede side quest, I know we keep talking about it, but it's coming soon here. You're going to need some agents, so and you're going to want to take advantage of that because we're going to give you a way to monetize these agents. So yeah, keep an eye out for
Stop, I'm getting too excited when you say those things, man.
that. Yes,
I've been grinding on these LLM tools, so yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for anything that is gonna like monetize AI usage. I think that's a lot of people as well. I think there's a lot of people,
yes,
at least that I speak to, that make a lot of stuff. They just have a hard time monetizing it. Um,
exactly.
but we'll see how the arena does a good job of that. So
Yes, sir. Another cool thing that I'm super getting into because I think robots are coming fast. So I'm always like this. These are always all over my timeline. I'm always paying attention to these. But this new Chinese one that just came out is apparently just like the other one that we talked about last week or the week before. It's completely autonomous now. They do everything without any like human intervention or anything like that. Basically, I believe this one is already in production and like people in China can buy it and for their homes. Yeah, apparently it's like very very good. You can see a little bit of the demo in the video here, but
yeah,
yeah, pretty cool to see.
I will say the Chinese are way ahead of us in terms of robotics adoption. Do you ever
I
see
mean, they
those?
appear. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, okay, let me like preface by saying, at least commercially, it seems like
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
East is better at adopting these things. Um, I'm not entirely sure why, but it just kind of seems like they have a lot more robot helpers for like restaurants or for like random commercial districts for delivering stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of robotics comes out of China simply because there's
Yeah,
more demand. But
I
yeah.
sorry.
These types of things are really cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking at this video and it's so interestingly made that I don't even know if it's like AI generated or not.
I
Nowadays,
don't know.
it's so
Apparently,
hard
it's
to
real.
tell.
But
Yeah,
yeah, apparently it's fully autonomous and functions very well. Yeah, the only comment I would make on this is like, yeah, I think like China's pretty fast at this stuff. They iterate fast. They don't have that like the regulatory loopholes that we always have to like kind of go through on all this bureaucracy. But I do think that once like Tesla, for example, unveils their new Optimus like Gen 3, I think it's gonna like blow all these other robots out of the water. I mean, at least like from like there's a bunch of like Tesla fanatics that have been like that dig into this pretty deep, and yeah, everything that I've been reading and hearing about it is like this Optimus Gen 3 is gonna like blow all these other robots out of the water. So yeah, I guess like yeah, Chinese and Asia, they iterate very fast. They get these things to market very fast, and they do it in a pretty cheap way because their like parts and labor and stuff is pretty cheap. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if quality wins over quantity in the long run.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the Tesla robots. I keep seeing videos of the Tesla cars talking to people, and those
Oh,
are
really?
kind
I
of
haven't
going
seen that.
viral. Yeah, yeah. There's like a I think you can use Grok in Teslas now, and there's like an unhinged mode on the Grok settings, so it can talk to you in very interesting ways. But a lot of people
Oh,
are going
really?
viral posting these. Yeah, they're really funny, I will
Yeah,
say.
check that out.
Um,
Nice.
but
You haven't
yeah, I
seen that.
mean, I don't know. Like Elon Musk's companies are just so crazy. As erratic and like insane as he is on social media, he just does have Tesla and Starlink and SpaceX and Twitter and you
Yeah,
know
it's wild. Everything that he's been able to
XAI.
produce. And then like it's
So
got like a solar company also, and plus the the hole the hole digging or whatever. They're making
yeah,
tunnels under cities and stuff. Yeah, just
yeah.
wild, 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 wild. But yeah, pretty crazy what a little bit of autism can do.
Oh yeah. A little bit of autism, a whole lot of like I don't even know what motivates that man.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, yeah. And then there's all sorts of like speculation about like where this is all leading with robots. There's a lot of like good optimism, but there's also like uh, the negative side of things where like oh this could lead to like killer robots and all that. Of course, are always fears. So yeah, I don't know. Don't want to get into the negative side of things. There's always like positives and negatives to everything, but all I know is that the world is everything's moving super fast, and it's going to be super interesting either way. And then I wanted to share this also because it's just absolutely wild. Like the on the positive side of things, like what people are like accomplishing with AI. Like I don't know if you heard the one about the guy like basically helped solve his dog's cancer. Well, another
Oh yeah,
founder,
yeah.
GitLab founder, like developed like his own kind of customized medicine or something like that through AI. And like he got his cancer into remission also. Like as he said, like went into like founder mode and just kind of figured it out. So it's pretty wild, like everything that AI is like opening up and uh, like the tools that are available to anyone anywhere. Like you can just do stuff. Like, it's
Hmm.
wild.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was talking to a lot of people about this actually recently. Is like the bioengineering side will be huge, and especially as we figure out how to like train LLMs on brains or like interact brains in a consistent way with data LLMs, data sets, and actually see meaningful results. It's going to be completely insane. The amount of genetic or biologic manipulation and um and change that you will see at like the societal level will be it's hard to even conceptualize.
Designer babies are coming.
Designer babies are coming, but also just designer you and me, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I
We'll be able to
was reading
customize
about
our own genetics.
yeah, I was reading about David Sinclair's lab, who are I don't know if you know this guy. He's like a Harvard
Oh yeah.
longevity professor. You know, obviously there's like a mixed take on him, but apparently his lab is really ahead on this longevity stuff and also regeneration of parts, like eyes or limbs or
Hmm.
just reducing the um age of the body with these tools, and they're getting like very very far, at least in animal trials. Like it's
Yeah.
pretty insane.
I'm pretty deep down. I don't know if you know this. I'm pretty deep down the biohacking and longevity rabbit holes. I have been for like quite a few years. So yeah,
Oh,
no,
I
I'm
did
very
not know
familiar
this.
with.
Well,
I'm very familiar.
oh, shit.
I've been experimenting like quite a bit. So
Really?
No,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. We might need a
So
podcast just
yeah,
for like longevity,
yeah,
Byron,
yeah. We might have to go
and
down that
stuff.
rabbit hole on a separate live stream. But yeah, no, I'm very much into that stuff, and some of the stuff that like yeah, David Sinclair's a leader in that. Some of the stuff they're coming out with, like um, is pretty wild. I think that we will probably solve aging, like maybe even in the next like 10 years here. Like everyone could just like stop aging, so that's gonna be that's gonna be pretty wild. I mean, a lot of this stuff has to go through human trials and all that, but like a lot of this stuff you can actually still get on the market because it's like already been cleared for like different reasons for different things. So like yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. But yeah, like the stuff
Yeah,
that this enables and like the whole like peptide movement and stuff like that right
right.
now
Peptides
is
are.
wild.
I think peptides are like the beginning of this because it's the real
Mhm.
first like massive retail like adoption of bioengineering where
Yeah,
peptides have existed. It's not like pharmaceutical drugs and peptides haven't existed, but to the extent at which people are now trying them without major like long-term clinical studies, just for the
yeah,
competitive advantage. Like you're telling me, okay, I can think a little bit slightly better. I have less brain fog, or I can heal slightly faster. Imagine I can become 10 times smarter because of
yeah.
some, or just, you know, my body is significantly like more resilient and more adaptable and can live way longer. You think people wouldn't like immediately try this
Oh yeah,
en
people want
masse,
silver bullets. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
People
I
want
think
quick fixes. That's what they kind of. I mean, yeah, you definitely have to like weigh the risks and everything like that. But like most of the stuff, you put it through like AI and you do enough research on it, like um, you can get to a pretty safe place where you can like try out some of the stuff in a pretty safe way, as long as you're not like overdosing or anything like that. And a lot of the stuff is like pretty natural too. So um, yeah, it's I think custom medicine and yeah, custom protocols for each individual person. That's the future of medicine, and it's yeah another thing that's wild at how fast we're getting there.
for sure. No, that whole space is gonna go crazy. There's a lot of things to invest in right now if you're like
Yeah,
really, you know, you're really keen. But
I mean, and then that opens up a whole nother conversation about like yeah, like there's a lot of stuff to invest. There's a lot of like sectors and industries and like stuff like that that is super interesting to invest in. But like, how does the average individual investor like get access to like some of this stuff? Because
right,
most of it's in the private markets, and even if you can get into the private markets, if you're an accredited investor, it's like so hard to get into like different rounds of investments. Um, they're super competitive. So I think that's just a whole nother conversation, but a whole nother thing that crypto does enable for people. I think like Coinbase is trying to do a lot in this area where they're trying to bring like a lot of this private market investment to the average consumer, like
hmm
through the Coinbase platform. And I think that's why they acquired Kobe's company to do like ICOs basically for private market companies. So yeah, I think that's another thing that crypto enables, and it's super exciting to watch. It's just like giving the average person um, access to like some of these kind of cutting edge investment opportunities.
for sure. Yeah, that's definitely another great reason to be in crypto. And also, I think we literally had like this movement exists, DeSci. I don't know if
Mhm.
you read about it at all. It's just people trying to do fundraising for like science via the blockchain, and it was
Um,
mostly really bad. But
yeah,
it's like it's the first start.
you got to
It's
start somewhere. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, like pharma investing is already super degenerate in traditional markets with like
yeah,
clinical trials. I take it to crypto,
it's
it's
true.
like even more crazy.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've heard some, yeah, like horror stories about all that whole industry and yeah, like the fundraising practices and all that there. It's, yeah, pretty high risk, high reward.
for sure, for sure, for sure. So we'll see how that goes. But you never know. Maybe science is coming to the blockchain soon.
I mean, it's starting to. There's
Yeah,
like some big like biology like projects on crypto now already. So yeah, it's exciting to see.
man, there's just so much stuff. There's just so many
So much
things.
stuff. So
Yeah,
much stuff,
there's
and that's what
also
we're here to cover.
yeah. I mean, I could go on for another few hours, but I just thought of this like this thing I was watching is one of the Anthropic employees went on to a talk. So this guy's like some PhD, like super smart, technical systems level engineer apparently, who was like a cybersecurity guy. Um, and he was basically testing. I don't know if you've heard of um, the Mythos Claude model, which is their like secret model that they haven't released to the public yet.
Oh yeah, I heard something about it, but I don't know too much. Yeah, what would happen with that?
So I don't know if they were using Mythos to do bug testing on some. He basically did a live demo of like, hey, we've been using Claude internal models to try and just um, look for bugs in things. They started with like smart contracts because smart contracts are really easy to measure, like how much you can earn, for example, from bug tests, and you can just see like an exponential line of 2023 you can make like a few thousand, then 2024 tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions from bug testing, from getting money out of these smart contracts. And then he started to show some popular, like a random super popular GitHub repo that was trending within the last year. And he's like, okay, so basically people have been using this GitHub repo and no critical bug security risk has ever been discovered until now. And then it's just a Claude security risk analysis,
Wow.
and they gave them basically like highly critical bug that could probably like destroy their entire setup and repo, but bug fixed with bug fixed with Claude. And then another even more crazy demo they showed afterwards was a kernel level um, bug basically that can compromise like some of the most root access on computers,
Oof.
which
Yeah.
is just like hardware security, like at that point like kernel is like one of the lowest levels of operating
Yeah. That
that your computer has, so
you
not
basically
great.
have to like upgrade your hardware then, which is like a lot harder to do. So yeah, that's scary. And I always wonder, like, what these kind of like companies like Anthropic and Google and OpenAI, like the kind of access that they have internally to like more. For sure, they have like better models internally. I mean, we got a little bit of insight into that through the last data leak with Anthropic. But yeah, like what they're capable of. Like, I even like wonder about like if like Google has like access to better quantum computers than they're telling us, and that they're already like breaking some encryption.
Hmm.
I always wonder about those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some level of gatekeeping. At least at Claude, there's like very clearly gatekeeping going on with which models are allowed to go to the public. Because now imagine everybody just, you paid $10 for some API tokens and you just broke some like massive system that everybody
Some
uses to
million
operate.
dollar honeypot. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there's going to be politics involved there and
Hmm.
gatekeeping for probably good reason.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Hopefully, they do things in the right way so that. But I mean, that's why as a DeFi protocol, and we need to like take security super seriously, and that's why yeah things have been a little bit delayed with supermarket because we are like going through a pretty heavy audit and just like doing every single check possible to make sure that nobody's money is at risk. So yeah, these are things that more people need to do because they're finding all sorts of bugs and like stuff wrong with like all these old protocols that have been like everyone thought were like Lindy and safe now because they've been out there for so many years, but now AI is destroying them. So yeah, security is super important.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean there's been so many within this last week there's been like huge security um breach events basically. One was like a package manager got pwned and
Yeah,
then
same.
like JavaScript users got I don't know if they got backdoor but they got a lot of like deep access. And then also this by the way this bug I was talking about in the kernel level it was a 0 day um kernel level remote code execution bug, so people could just add things remotely, basically, to your system.
Wow.
And the bug had been there since like 2003, apparently. It had existed.
That's
So,
wild.
and nobody had ever caught it until Claude caught it now. So, you know, the capacity of these models is absurd, and you really do have to be way more careful now than ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I guess like let's see what next week brings. This is why like we do this like
Yeah,
in general like once a week, and there's just like so much more news every single week. So yeah, definitely stay tuned, everyone, because like every single week the whole world changes. So yeah, keep tuning in, and we'll try to keep you up to date on everything that's going on. That's all I have for
absolutely.
this week. Yeah, anything else on your end?
Um, Not really. We can wrap it up here, but there's been a lot of interesting topics. Quantization, I think, as well as one that people should go and take a look at. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Maybe next week we can dig a little bit
Next
more into
week.
that. The whole
Absolutely.
quantum talk is a good one.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you again in a week. I'm sure we'll have a lot more to share.
Ab I'm sure as well. So, yeah,
Later, everyone.
take care.